So I was Armand's queen. I was the king of the rainbow family. I was his queen. And he taught me how to be a gypsy woman. In our road trip that we took together, our 2-day road trip, I learned how to be a gypsy woman, a gypsy wife. And it was beautiful. And he knew he was going to die. And he passed on some anointing to me because he was a king. And he passed on some of his anointing vibration. Everybody saw us together. And so all of a sudden he knitted all of his friends of, hey, this is one of my girls. And he explained to me what it's like to be a gypsy queen. He explained it to me. He showed it to me. He let me be that. He brought me from like the ashes, which meant I got there. I was really popular. I got invited to everything. I was the new girl. And then, I was the new girl. And then I was, so I was exciting and people wanted me to go to everything. And then I wasn't the new girl anymore. And so, I wasn't the new girl anymore. I wasn't the popular girl anymore, which brought me down, to ashes of losing, that popularity. And then the king said, hey, I still love this girl. She's still a star. And so he came when I went down to ashes because I wasn't the new girl anymore in Hawaii. And he brought me from ashes and said, no, she's my queen. I'm going to teach this girl how to be a queen. And that's what he did. And he taught me how to be a queen. And it was beautiful. And he anointed me. Literally. And he literally, being a king, he had an anointing of being a king. And so he took that and pierced me with it. And I literally felt being pierced with his anointing, which came from God, and said, hey, I pick her. I trust her. She's been with me since day one. She's loved me through the ins and outs and all that. I'm going to pierce her to be a queen. And so he did. And he taught me how to be a queen. And so I was with him right before he passed. And it was a beautiful thing. And it was amazing. And this guy, Armand, I'm going to have to speak like him later just so you guys can get a feeling. And he wanted me to take his pictures. He granted me permission to hold his memorial, which I did. And I want to tell you in another one on what I did for his memorial. And he had more than one memorial, and he gave me permission to do his memorial. So I had his first memorial. And then a year later, they got his ashes. They were able to get his ashes, and they had another memorial for him. But he gave me permission to have a memorial for him. And so I had a memorial for him, and there was about 7 people there, and probably 8. And we played music for him, and it was his best friends. And it was really, really magical and beautiful. And Armand, the Rainbow King, told me who he was. And he said, I am a gold dragon. And so I found a gold dragon to be there at his memorial. Now, I'm a Christian, so it wasn't an idol. It was just representing his personality. And so I took this dragon and I held it at his memorial site, which was South Kalani Point in Hawaii and southeast side. And I took this gold dragon and I put it out, held it towards the ocean, and this was his permission. So I followed what I heard him say, what I heard God told me to say, and I represented all of his friends, and I represented everyone who wanted to be there. And I got to yell and say, we love you. This is for all of everyone that loves you. I'm representing them right now. And I got to call out his memorial and his wishes. And it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And he picked me to do that. And he's the gold dragon. And he anointed me as a queen. And it was so beautiful. And I had that moment, and it was so spirit guided. The gold dragon. And I'm doing his memorial, and he asked me to, and it was so bright and beautiful and magical. He looked like Bob Marley. He was a storyteller. He told all the stories. He would sit at 70 years old. He would sit at the top of the hill and tell stories of the past. He was legend. He made me legend. And when I did the 24-hour road trip with him, and we ran into Star, who was part of the Yoga Oasis, and we did this road trip, and it was like, wow, he's such a go-getter. He's just like nonstop. And he could just live off of beer. He bought me one Snickers bar, and that's what I was living off of. And it was just so much fun. And we just slept in the car together, and it was just so magical. And we snuggled. And I learned from the best.